see. I just kind of have to guess.
Nicole, can you get us a copy of the agenda?
I sure will. Just drop off.
We already have one.
So how many do you want? Just one? Are you okay? Anyone else want a copy?
Okay.
Some high school they drop it off,
Oh, okay.
but not the. Please. There was two papers, we have a big flyer.
Yeah, you already have the flyer, but you didn't have the movie.
No.
Okay. Well,
She was gonna take it.
I had a meeting with her at 9, and I'm like, hey, can you bring these over, and then that will save me a trip.
Those, Linus Miller.
Thank you.
Good job. Good work on
Yeah,
this.
I think they're good. There you go. I like them.
Thank you
Oh,
very
sorry,
much.
yeah.
Appreciate it. No, that's fine, a little easier than the phone.
We'll see how many people will. I mean, I sold 6.
Really?
Yeah, so 2 from Clover.
Did you see
Maybe
the
gonna
one that Ian Kaleidoscope? No, I can just tell
I'm not
it's.
showing. In each town, and then the 2 parks.
Was it on Facebook? Oh my God.
They're 1/20th scale. So we have yeah, I put it on Facebook with the flyer.
I used to follow, but.
But yeah, like,
One more
just,
spot for you.
but they look just like the big ones, and then they have a name on them. They're $30, and then if you buy 2, it's 30, and then 7.24. But yeah, they,
Those are cute.
yeah, they turned out really good.
What color is Pokey?
Pokey is, this is Pokey's.
Red.
No, that's actually, let me see, that one was raw.
There.
This one's Pokey's. No.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Hi.
Well, we saw the, what was it, the troll that guy built at Elkhorn.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's big, isn't it?
About 20 feet tall.
I saw someone else that posted something like
That's
this.
cool.
They whipped around to look at it.
And Clinton's got 3.
Oh, really?
Just kind of
So
neat
how
to
long
go see
have you been?
something like that.
Good. Are you on the bike?
Yeah, that's our, that's what we do. Say, let's go see that. Okay.
I know, that's a fun.
You've been
Yeah.
doing aerobics? Yeah.
It's about 100 miles each way.
Started today. Yeah, good feedback. Is it warm? It's very warm, luxuriously warm.
The aerobics today. Do what?
Aerobics.
Oh,
The water is so warm.
is it?
It's
The
bad.
meter's running, huh?
Yeah.
The meter's spinning then.
Hey, whatever. It needs to.
Yeah.
Well, the outdoor temp was warm this afternoon. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just ground your knob. Ready? Okay.
I know.
Do you wanna come sit up here with us?
Sure.
So you can hear?
Excuse me, were we supposed to sign in?
Yes, there's a book there that you can sign in. Right up there. Right up here. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere, so.
I'm gonna tell you. Good.
Two, three, maybe. Well, we still have to look at that. It wasn't, that resolution was not.
This is what I want to do, so I'm not for sure.
All right, are we ready, people? I don't hear any no's, so. Let's call this meeting to order. We need to approve the agenda first.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'd like to make an amendment to have the approval of, or appointment of vacant position moved to after the consent agenda and before old business, so that we can get the new member on here potentially before we act on the rest.
I'd like to do that too. I don't know how you guys, the rest of you feel?
I'll second that.
So I need a first.
That'll
That'll
be
be
the
our
motion.
first, okay. Nicole. And Cody. All right, let's move to citizens' opportunity to address the council. Do we have any citizens that want to say something? Kent?
I was here 3 months ago and I just wanted to ask if any more has been done to clean up our city.
There's been a little bit.
Doesn't seem like much.
No, it doesn't seem like much, and you are correct, but it is, they're whittling away at it little by little from what I understand.
Okay.
I can't give you, details. I know Alex should be here, but, he's the one with the details, but I do know that, there's a few places that complaints have been filed, and he's been working with them to get some stuff done. There's Alex, did you hear your name?
No, I did not, but
Cleaning things up.
The city,
oh yes,
how junky it is.
yes. We've actually talked to several people. We've been working through. We've had several straight complaints here. Generally, everybody's been very compliant and working through them. I think the biggest problem is that it's always one of those things that we want to go right after it. But the other problem is that time permits between all the other cases that we have here in town. I mean, our armed robbery here took up a significant amount of work product time. So.
That's all I had. I just wanted to make sure something was being done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have not hit the houses yet, the truly abandoned houses yet, but normally that requires me to interface up in here, and we haven't had a lot of up in here because I have to have all these records, and I don't.
I talked to Barney Essing once and he said they just used nuisance abatement.
Right, which requires us to have all those. The days when Barney did it to the days today is not the
Okay.
same way.
Okay, okay. I just wanted
But
something.
we are working on it, John.
Okay.
Good night. Don't, it's posted in the paper if it's so tall. The city goes in and mows and we assess it against their property tax.
I
Is
don't-
that
I-
not being done anymore?
I have not seen that this one was posted. I don't know that it's in the paper. We've been actually doing the lawn nuisances, and actually I've talked to several. We've already got all those logged and everything that we've talked to.
Chad usually goes and mows them and then he brings a
Right.
list in and then we
But I haven't seen the paper notification, so I can't do it unless the paper notification's in there.
used to always goes out in April.
Yeah, I don't know. because that was my question, is I didn't have that. So,
Okay.
because normally usually you would either send it to me, or I would see it, or I don't know, Brandy or somebody, one time, one year I had it on my desk, so.
Yeah.
But I didn't have,
There's
so-
a lot of private properties that aren't being mowed, that
Yeah.
are owned, you know.
yeah, I think I did 7 this weekend. I mean, we went and talked, and I've got one of the landlords who owns a bunch of them. She gave me a list on Sunday of where they were sending somebody for tomorrow to go get them mowed. So,
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kent. Anybody else? Consent agenda. I had a couple of questions. We don't need to say it out loud. I assume that's. Excuse me. Trying to write sideways.
Can you read that?
I assume that's basically the same thing. And Canon Financial Services, copier, sorter, folder, I didn't know that did we do a folder? Did we say it was okay to get a folder?
We did it, it's a perpetual item, I didn't necessarily need permission when I asked that time, I found out later. And then our other one died, so we just added it to the contract.
Would have been nice to know.
I have a question about the bill and then 2 comments about the minutes. Minutes wise, after the, or regarding the county fair, it's just missing the vote there. And we made a motion to go ahead and approve that time, those calendar events.
Okay.
So just that vote was missing, and then Cody's already on the insurance board, Wes was voted
Yeah,
too.
I missed that, yeah.
And as far as the bill, I have a question pertinent to the pool flooring. The 24,000 on here, is that the second half of payment?
Yes.
Okay, so based on the quality of work, and concerns I have, I would not like to approve that until we get that rectified.
Because of,
I don't know if it's incredibly appropriate to have a long discussion during this portion of the meeting, but
just a quick overview.
yeah, we are invited up to see the quality of the work of the floors at the pool. The staff up there have significant concerns. I have pictures that I'm gonna go ahead and pass along to everybody after the meeting. But Maddie would love if you stopped up there and looked at it yourself. But I think we need to have a conversation about, how these quality issues are gonna be resolved before we finalize payment.
So they've been paid? That's what I thought. She's already paid that bill.
These bills haven't been approved by us.
I know, but the bill is already paid. It says bills paid 5/18 to 5/30, so that bill has already been paid, so we have no recourse.
Oh, no, I can still call him back. I mean, I can call and ask him to come back.
I would like to call him
Yeah.
myself, if I could get all that information,
Yeah.
it'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Per our
Because-
resolution, those bills do not get paid before council approval.
Bills are not to be paid before the council approves them. I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter. So are we,
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with those corrections to the minutes.
Cody and Brian. Let's, all in favor? I do it every time, don't I? Every time. All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
I'm having a terrible time today. All opposed? One nay? discussion on approval of the vacant city council seat. And that's, you've got resolution 19. We had, two people that put their name in the hat, and then one backed out. So Kim, we're down to you. If you're still interested.
That's why I'm here.
Is there anything you wanna say prior to our discussion of, or vote?
Well, like I emailed, Chrissy Nicole, and I don't know if the rest of the council got that, but I just wanted to step up, and I know how important it is to have a filled council, and so I just wanted to be able to support the council as I could. But I also know that this council really needs a good fit for the open position, and so after looking at my responses to the questions and everything, and knowing I'm very new to the community, if you did not feel that I'm a good fit, I totally respect that as well. So either way, I'm here to support you either way, so.
You've got my personal opinion, and it doesn't mean a whole lot, but you've got a little bit of background in city government, just a little bit.
Yeah.
You were the mayor of West Bend. I think your answers to the questions were right on. Anybody else got anything?
I thank you for putting your name in and being interested in it. I know it can be a tough decision, so thank you for wanting to step up and serve.
And
Especially
thank you
being
for the
city
consideration.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I'll make a motion to appoint a plan in our vacant council position. And to approve resolution 19.
And Cody. Wanna come join us and we'll do the.
Is there a chair?
Sorry, roll call.
Always chair. Is there a chair? Yep. Be
Um,
careful, it could be you.
Van Dom. Harrison. DeWall. Stover.
Chrissy, can you get her the rest of her packet?
Yes, I'm working on it. A little handicapped here.
Can I just add a personal note here? I just want to explain my voice a little bit, you guys, as you're gonna hear me on the computer, if you watch the video and in here. I was diagnosed about a year ago with something that's called spastic dysphonia. And so my impulses for my basal ganglia that go to my vocal folds spasm. And so I'm not in any pain or whatever, but sometimes if I sound like I'm crying or I'm nervous, I'm really not. It is what it is, so I apologize for that.
This is tonight's packet is here,
Okay,
and that's just some paperwork so you can get paid.
okay.
And I am
For
going,
multi-men, or do you have to be paid?
yes, I believe you have to be.
I have to be paid.
You can donate it back, but you have to be paid.
I can donate it back. Okay, thank you.
Do I wanna read this?
You're the only one we have that.
John Douglas.
I've been through that a few times.
Yeah.
Or did you wanna get a picture of this?
Yeah, I did.
So you probably have to go over by
Kim, I'm
the flag
gonna
for the.
That's why I wore my little skirt today. Just in case.
Yeah, go ahead.
I, Kim Plain, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all of the duties of the office of City Council in Pocahontas as now or hereafter required by law. Just say this. Jason.
that done. Do I need to do anything else with that? Let's go back to old business, update on the city clerk position, approve interim during training and transition. It's gonna be a tough one. But, with Laura leaving, I think we should start that process all over again, for the city clerk. Just because I don't think it was done quite correctly. I think we need a small committee, three people at least, to do interviews and do background checks, whatever else needs to be done to do that.
I think we need to standardize our hiring process in general, and just reflect our code, and our job descriptions, and getting the people involved that need to be involved with each, hiring process within the city, at all levels. And, I think that's a discussion that we can probably have later on down the road about what we want, what path we wanna take for these specific positions, but I think at this point, the biggest thing is that Laura's last day in office is Friday, and we legally have to appoint an interim city clerk. And so we need to start looking at what our options are there.
I think the first thing we need to do is, yes, figure out our, procedure. I would like to, I have not had time yet to study our code, our, job descriptions, and get those all lined up and figured out for exactly what we do need. What we have to have and what we don't have to have. Yes, we do have to have an interim person, because Laura's done Friday. No disrespect, but it's not the city administrator's position to actually hire or appoint the city clerk without it coming to the council or being a council decision. So I think starting all over is gonna be our best bet.
So do we have any options for interims?
I believe we have Janan, will
It's
be,
probably your best option.
would be an interim. Did, you talk to Sarah?
I think there's probably individuals within the community or even surrounding communities that would be interested in helping out. I think the biggest question you're gonna get is, to what extent are you asking them to help out? And I think that's probably a conversation we need to have as council tonight, as to, we can't expect someone in 4 days to drop all their responsibilities in the middle of the summer and come here, because there is a lot of work to catch up on and be done at this point. And so I think we need to figure out what the responsibilities of that intern position is gonna look like, and if it's gonna be more of a part-time in nature, doing the financials, doing the logistics, the stuff that we don't know how to do, versus, like, my take on it would be, we assume kind of points of contact for each of our respective departments, and take the project management side out of it and try to reduce the load a little bit that way, and really focus on things we don't know how to do, such as like software, financials, that sort of thing. But that's my take, and we can kind of reflect on the committees that we're all part of anyway. I think it would be important for like the departments to have a point person to know that they should go to that person.
So how much time do we have? You said we have to have one. Is that from her last day on Friday, or is that from her actual last day in July?
Well, you need to someone labeled as a clerk to cover us, so because she's gonna continue to be on our payroll until July 12th, I would think that logistically, we would be safe with having someone identified as the city clerk. However,
Yeah, I
the
see. Do we
logistics of
have-
not,
do
if
we
she's not
have
in
to get
office,
somebody appointed tonight, or do we
I
have?
would say you would want someone acknowledged before Friday so that we can continue to have payroll submitted and bills paid and all of that stuff.
And payroll. Derek, you're here.
Yep.
I'm gonna say this probably not correctly, but can you do payroll? Can you figure it payroll?
Yes.
And when is the next payroll due?
This Friday.
This
I was
Friday.
planning on doing it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. But if we did not have Laura here, can't we run those checks up to, Nick and have him sign
No,
it?
you can't have anything to do with her.
And that was my question, I thought that, but I wasn't quite sure.
I don't wanna chime in, but most of it is direct deposit.
Good,
So
and that was
it's
gonna
the
be one of my
bills.
next questions.
The bills would be the other concern, those are not direct.
Okay, okay.
And also just like figuring out taxes and health insurance premiums and all that stuff, is that already auto taken out and figured up and everything?
Some of it is, some different.
So we have that aspect of payroll to
Yeah,
worry
you
about
still
as
have
well.
payables.
Yeah.
Walmart and all that kind of stuff.
As mayor, can I be assigned to sign checks? I don't know. How is that
In Lake City,
gray area?
I'm interim city administrator down there. Nobody from the office signs the checks, the mayor and the treasurer signs, it takes 2 signatures there, and they sign it. I think it can be whoever you say, you just wanna be sure that person can be available if you need a check written now.
We
And,
also have to write up a resolution to name you a check writer and
Right.
approve that before.
right,
And it has to go to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
and then all the forms at the bank.
My, I guess, my take on it is, and you said it, where I was going next was, if I could sign a check, I would want a second signer. Regardless, I would want someone else to take a look at it also and be have it be 2 signatures. I'm wonderful with that. If that's what we wanna do, that's fine with me, I'll gladly take that responsibility. If you don't want me to do it, that's great too, I really don't care, I'm just offering.
I
If
think
you got
as,
something else in mind.
as far as this line goes right now, and knowing that the end of this agenda, we can still continue to talk about transition planning and different things like that, I would say that I wanna make a motion to table naming an interim at this point and be able to have a couple days of collecting information about who's interested and who's available and what, availability they can offer us so that we don't overload. You know, if it needs to be 2 different people that have different responsibilities based on their availability, I don't wanna ask, I recognize that it's summer, I recognize that the level of commitments go up tremendously in summer, and I recognize what we're asking someone to come in and do is a lot as well, and I think that we're gonna have to be creative in our approach to making sure that we continue to operate
Efficiently.
correct, yeah. So with that all said, I make a motion to table naming an interim with recognition that we will have to probably have a special meeting to name one in the future.
Second? You can't go anywhere unless somebody wants to say something,
Somebody can make a different motion.
make a different motion, whatever. We can't go anywhere unless somebody speaks.
Janan is very well versed in this and has done this for years and years and years.
That's what I was gonna say. Are you willing to take the position?
Yes, if insist I be here 5 days a week. I work with 15 different towns.
Okay.
So, can I just tell you what I did with Lake City?
Sure.
Okay. I agreed to be in Lake City 2 days a week. And they paid all my expenses, just like you guys do now.
Mhm.
I get $50 an hour.
Okay.
And I think that was the only restrictions they put on it. But I'm also available just like I am now. I can log into your computer system
Okay.
if they, whoever wants me to, so that I can help them do a process. And
But you would not be available to sign checks.
I didn't sign them in Lake City.
That's just clarifying.
I guess if we're also going to name someone tonight, we probably need to nail down on what the responsibilities look like, because naming someone under the, the stipulations that Janon had over in Lake City without realizing how many hours we're actually asking of her or what we're actually asking her to be here for is probably a pretty gray area, because even if she was here for, say we don't get anyone in for 6 weeks, right, and that's probably pushing it with holidays and stuff like that coming up too. If she was here 5 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 7,500, not also including like your expenses for mileage and hotel and stuff like that. So I think we need to just nail down the responsibilities we're asking her to do to make sure that you feel comfortable with that level of commitment too.
How you're here right now, working.
How many hours
This
did you
last
need?
10 days, I've been here 7 to 9 hours a day.
How long are you yet? Do you think you need?
How long are you gonna be here right now
This
to
is
clean
this
things up?
Friday.
This time is Friday.
I'm going somewhere else Wednesday, tomorrow for sure, and I'm going somewhere else Wednesday. I can come back Thursday and Friday if you want. Excuse me. We've been trying to get the books balanced. I'm almost done with March, so there'll be April and now May. We just got that statement to do that. I know when your payroll taxes are due, I know when your quarterly reports, and they're gonna be coming due in June, the end of June. And the end of the fiscal year occurs in June. And then you an annual financial report you have to do, and a street finance report you have to do, and, so, I was a city clerk. And then I worked for your software company for 23 years, and a couple of years ago it sold, and so it's a different company now. But I worked with Joan a long time ago. I don't even wanna say how many years.
If you're Thursday, Friday, we would have to have a special meeting on Thursday or Friday. Could be back around, yes.
Whatever the council decides, and my understanding was you had approved it for last week and this week.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I'm more than willing to go home Wednesday night from another town. I am willing to come back, so whatever you guys want.
With you having so much knowledge about where we're at, probably more than any one of us up here, as far as what exactly we are asking the interim and potentially the new person to undertake, and the level of work and kind of commitment that that's going to involve. What do you think that looks like as far as how many hours you're gonna need to put in? And do you feel like you have the ability to be here for this?
Yeah, because I set my own schedule. So, I've just got, I think it's the 3rd week in June, a clerk is going on vacation or whatever. I'm committed to 3 days there. But for the most part, and if we need 3 days, like the week of
question is, do you have any, like, standing obligations that you know you're gonna be out of office for?
Last week of June into the first week of July.
Okay.
Are you taking vacation that week?
Yeah.
So am I.
So I think that's another thing is like we probably just need a body in here of some sort. On whether that's you or someone that can just answer phone calls and take notes, but.
Yeah, and, I've paid attention the last week or so, and I did before anyway, about the amount of phone calls and the amount of walk-in traffic you guys have. It's hard for Derek to get things done, it's hard for Laura to get things done. I think there were almost 15 people today that wanted to come in and talk to Laura. I have no idea how many phone calls. So you need for sure somebody who's going to be able to answer the phone and do a certain amount. Some of it is, people, well, right now it's heavy because of your pool passes. A lot of it is people, I think tonight or late this afternoon, Derek took 2 calls, people who were moving in or out. You know, so you need somebody at least who can sit at the desk and do that along with all your daily work.
It would probably be something to think about to approve overtime for Derek too, because you know his hours are gonna get stretched past the point.
And you can't go from 3 people to 1 person.
Yeah, no. I'm just saying,
No.
that's just the other piece of that.
I think we'll operate, I mean, again, this is a discussion we can have further on down the road, but I think we'll all be willing to step in however needed and however best we can. You know, that you can reach out to us if you need help or need to run somewhere or whatever that may be, but, yeah, I think focusing this conversation, because we have a lot more large topics coming up as well as what are we doing for the interim specifically, and then we can further discuss transition planning down at the last one.
I have just one quick question. So with the interim position, is there any chance of working remotely? Or do you feel that it's with all that's required that you would have to be in
Some of
person
it will
all
be,
the time?
some of it will be remote.
Okay.
Like balancing your bank
Sure.
statements, getting online and paying your sales tax and your
Right.
quarterly report.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you're,
they're gonna have that opportunity as well.
yes, and just know that adds to the hours. I might not be here, but it,
And she's technically on our payroll as of now, correct, so we wouldn't have to go through that
I'm
process.
not on your payroll, I'm through accounts payable.
Okay,
Just payable.
And you would not be on payroll.
No, I'm
I didn't think so.
fine
Yeah.
keeping it the
Yeah.
way. I say that, but you know, I think Lake City checked into the legality because they paid me through payroll. And I think it had to be, I'll double check it.
that's what I think, I mean, legally to me it makes sense that your interim clerk would have to be on that payroll,
And
but I don't know.
what we tried to do there was, they had hoped it wasn't gonna take more than 6 months, but it, for a variety of reasons, did. If I just get paid in 2 quarters, you don't have to pay IVRS on me.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my share, I mean, if you put me on IVRS, I'm gonna get my share back, but the city's not.
Right.
So, unless there's a legal reason, and I'll double check with Lake City and see why we did it that way. And maybe their attorney just wanted it that way. I'm happy just going through accounts payable.
Yeah, 'cause basically you just turn in a bill and then we get paid.
Yep, but if I'm signing anything as interim city administrator, city clerk, whichever way or both, that you decide to do that,
You're not covered by
then
the city
yes,
because you're not really an employee.
I'm not
You're
an
a
employee.
subcontractor.
Yeah, third party.
so I'm pretty sure that's why they did it.
Janelle can do remotely, then like that sounds beneficial for you. And for us, as far as, you know, paying for you to come down here, but also we need to know that then we have somebody else who can come here and be there when Derek's gone, or, so it might just look like Janelle might be the interim city clerk, but also we're hiring a part-time position to fill in at City Hall. And their responsibilities might be X and Y. I think that conversation is just something that probably should have happened a couple weeks ago, so that we could have nailed that down. And now we're kind of backstall and need to figure it out. So I think we should, again, in interest of the rest of these agenda items, we just take that for what it's worth. Everybody go back for the next day or two, figure out the legality, talk to Ryan when he gets back tomorrow, I think. And then it's likely have to have a special meeting to do the process and make sure we're doing it correctly. We all come back with what we think those responsibilities should be. And it'd be super beneficial if like either one of you could just create a list of things that, and I know it's all encompassing, like that's a list of like never ending stuff, but just like stuff that you know is going to be something that needs to be taken care of to continue to operate.
The quarterly reports.
Yeah.
You know, your monthly report.
That way we can draw up a contract that says, you know, we're appointing Janelle as interim city clerk, her responsibilities are this, her pay is this, we will cover this is how she will be paid, all of that stuff, and then also we're potentially approving a part-time hire who will be here to answer phones, whatever, like, that way it's black and white, we know what we're getting into
Right.
and everybody's covered.
I will second Nicole's tabling.
For tabling it, okay, Cody. So we're tabling until we can get things straightened out, figured out.
So we get
Lists,
so we get
there's
some
a
more
special-
information.
more
Yeah.
information, alright. Whew. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Discuss, review the software update. I did not take time. I shouldn't say I haven't, I didn't.
Well, this contract just came in this afternoon that I handed you tonight. What I gave you was notes on what the software could do.
Right.
And we have worked out a deal, or tried to, work out a deal with Cassell, I don't know how to say it. Civic, yeah. To where there's gonna be 4 cities going on this around here, and so that's 4 of us that could all work together.
Do you know who those other cities are?
Yep, Lake City, Dexter, what's the other one? I did, until it just,
Dexter is not close.
No, it's not, 2 hours.
she drives all over.
I know where Dexter's at.
Let me tell you a couple of things which may or may not make a difference to you. Your current software, you're gonna have to switch. They're redoing their software. So come December, you're gonna switch to something.
December? Okay.
That's the discussion we had about transitioning to the cloud, we have to pay X amount more regardless, so.
And it's nothing like your existing software. Lake City went on it,
Mine's on it too.
and their auditor refused to audit it. It's the same auditor you've got, because there's too much stuff missing, there aren't good reports. So, one of the Lake City council members used to be a city clerk. So she and I took the accounting and the payroll and put it back on the current version of software you guys have. We could not do that with the utility billing, just because you couldn't convert the history and all of that. But Abby, who is the, I'm not sure what her title is now, she was utility billing clerk, says every month there are problems. It loses bills, it loses payments. So,
We have a lot of that problem right now. It didn't charge me any electricity this month.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So, we looked at 3 different softwares. I don't were you there for Edmonds and Frey?
I think I was on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're approximately the same price, this company is. This is their first year in Iowa for either of those two companies, which,
For this one, no.
no, this one's been here.
Long
Oh,
time.
It's
long
third
years,
time.
Okay.
yeah.
The other two, not saying they're not good software, I don't know. This is just the first year anybody's been on them, so I don't know what they can give you for reports. That was my main concern, was that I knew come December, you would wanna switch to something, whether you stay with G-Works and take a chance on losing things, or you go with one of these other companies. So,
What are the other two companies?
one is called Frey, it's Frey, and they're from,
Are they
in,
Texas?
they might be from Indiana, and
Indiana.
Edmonds is the other one, and they're from New Jersey.
Okay.
I know where Edmonds is, I have trouble remembering where Frey is, but they're kind of Midwest, the eastern side of Midwest.
Another piece
Looks
we
like Kentucky, maybe.
stumbled
That could
into
be.
our Itron system, our meter reading system. The software for that expires in December as well. So, but they will convert, the Itron will convert into this system. We made sure of that.
And
So we lose the software on that too.
all three companies can do almost any of the handhelds. I call them handhelds. They're a little more electronic than that, but all three companies can do that.
What are, like, our local cities surrounding, so like Pomeroy, Newell, Fonda, Rennes, what software do they use?
I believe they're still on G-Works.
Okay, well, they're gonna run into the same thing, so is
Yes, they
there any talk about where they may be going to, or?
They haven't talked about it much yet because their budgets are different. So some of them are already on the cloud and fighting that battle. Some have only partway gone to the cloud, but it's getting to the point now G-Works is not gonna give you an option.
Yeah.
You're either gonna go to the cloud and they have no support, or
Right, I think
Make
the
the
concern
choice.
is like when we had our discussion, the big thing of, or the whole of all of us around here having the same software is that you can entice somebody from the company to come if help is needed,
Yes,
because
and that's
otherwise
what
they're not.
we did.
gonna-
That's how that happened in Lake City, is we kind of bribed him. Ours is a little bit more than some of these little towns because we have electric, so keep that in mind. And the total conversion rate that's on that page 2, that's only a one-time fee.
The 25,000 is a one-time.
No,
fee?
the 16,000, 16,304.
The conversion portion.
conversion.
Total conversion.
Yeah.
16
So that, you're only gonna have that once.
When are they needing to know something by?
They're ready to go as soon as we tell them.
They told everybody that from the day you sign the contract, it's 6 to 9 months to get it in. I explained to them the other day in that demo that I thought the cities were gonna be under a little more pressure than that. That they're gonna have to get it done. Yeah, it all needs to be done by December.
And then another 6 to 9 months after that.
So,
No.
so if it's, if we would go on G-Works, we'd have to pay to go to the cloud anyways, and then,
There's no support. The
but I
support
mean,
is
we're
terrible.
gonna have to pay to do that, and then
Yeah.
and then we don't decide to go a different route, we've already spent that money in.
Exactly.
Now, there's a good chance, and I don't know this for sure, that you may have to pay the annual support fee for G-Works this year.
It usually
all
comes up
depends
by
when
the end of the
everything
year.
gets done, and G-Works has set it up so that, at a certain date, if you haven't paid your license, you can no longer get into the existing software.
When you'll get into that anyways, 'cause you're gonna have to go back to.
Yep.
Until they cover. And last year, that was 18,000.
So the sooner we go with something else,
researched in whatever, this company here, Gazelle or whatever.
Yep.
Okay. And so it was Lake City, Dexter, Old Line, and one more maybe?
There are two more that are
Two
looking,
more.
that,
Oh, two.
but not sure what they're doing.
Sure, okay.
I think this is the way they're gonna go, but they have a product.
Nicole,
There's
there's
one
also
account
a piece to
they will
this
sometimes.
that you can add later. I will do the website.
So that's what,
open it up and
I was
everything.
just about to ask, cause I had, where you mentioned Civic, and that was a software training at one point, and I had never heard the Casell, and there's a lot of municipal type things called Civic, if you're wondering. And I kinda dug and teased through the options, and I thought I had found the one that you had mentioned, but it's called Civic Plus.
Yeah,
So
and
is,
so that's on top.
okay, so is Casell part of Civic
Yes.
Plus? Okay.
Yes.
So then I will tell you guys that I thoroughly researched the Civic Plus, and I think there's a lot of options under that umbrella of things we've discussed that I think would be incredibly beneficial for our town. I wanted to make sure that that was tied into this
Yes, I wanted to
because
make sure you knew. too.
that Civic Plus is very enticing. I mean, just like overall products that I thought would pull for us is social media, website management, mass notification, online billing, codification. However, we're already kind of doing that. Agenda meeting management or agenda meeting and minute management. So you can like stream directly through their software, and that's fully integrated. And then also like a resident portal. So if someone is driving by and like there's a pothole on this street, I'm gonna put a work order in, and that can relay directly into. Obviously, everything you add on is gonna be a service fee, but I think even like recreation management, so like a city event calendar and tying in our rec department and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of pulls to that portion of the software that if we went with them, knowing that it's under that umbrella, would probably be really beneficial for us moving forward.
So we don't really have a really to be deciding here tonight. I would say this is the what we go for.
Laura didn't get it until 3 o'clock or
Yeah,
something.
so I didn't
So,
know.
Take it home maybe 2 or 1.
And if we do have to have a special meeting, we can just
We
add
can
it
add
to the
that to
special
it.
meeting.
There you go.
I'm shooting for Thursday.
I got it. I already wrote it down.
the other thing we did make sure of was that they would train me on the software too. So that all the towns that I'm still helping, I could continue to help. One company said absolutely not. One said, yeah, I guess. And, Casell Civic said, certainly.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even ask.
That's, so is there a number of people that will be trained or could be trained under this umbrella? Because knowing that we're gonna have, this timeline may overlap a little bit with hiring new people and not.
For your city, we told them that it was normally 3 people plus me, so
Okay.
4. And they didn't put a limit on it, they said it was fine.
And it looks like from their website again that there's like online demos are incredibly easy to obtain and walk through. So I think that's probably something that seems they're a little more interactive than what we have right now.
One of the neat things I thought, because paper storage is becoming a big deal, but your invoices from vendors can be scanned and put in.
I'm all for that.
I know.
I am all for that.
And, yeah, and that's acceptable with the state auditors also.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you know that.
Yes,
from
I
the
do.
Yeah, so all of that can be done, and there are just some really neat features that nobody else had. But it will increase the cost of this, I wouldn't do it yet.
Right.
You need to get people on for a
Right.
year, but,
Right.
but eventually, yes, adding all of those things I think would be great.
Sounds good.
So
Okay.
timeline wise, as far as like, you said it could, from approval, it could take 6 to 9 months, so like this really should be something that we either put on the special or get dealt with.
So do we need to do anything with that yet tonight? Just, we did review it. Alright, we don't have to table it or anything. Alright. On to new business. Upper Des Moines, leach field.
Yes, I'm Julie Hodebeck Edwards, Executive Director of Upper Des Moines, and brought Kyle Dietrich, who has been facilities, and our weatherization department. The only reason we're approaching you for this odd ask is we have been attempting to repair our sewer at the UDMO outreach office since March 23rd. And if you look at the picture in front of you, the bottom of the page is west, and that's Highway 4. We're across from the county shed. If you go south to the right of the paper, there are two properties there. The sewer line follows that black line, and we have successfully put the sewer in to this point, kind of where that dark, it's a tree. And we have just that little bit to go, but we have had one roadblock after another, with our contractor sent home 3 different times. So we are pursuing legal action to try to come to an agreement with those neighbors. But I can't afford to wait any longer, and so a recommendation was to come to City Council and make a request to put in a septic tank. So we do have enough ground back there to put it back behind here, kind of thing. Kyle has been in contract with Calhoun County and Pocahontas.
Yeah, so I talked to the Calhoun County, the sanitarium there, her name is Shelley. She did say that she would approve that we can put a septic system in with the leach field. I did talk to Justin with the city here. He did physically go out and measure it out, and we're within the chapter 69 of what we can do for that. I know that's not what the city likes to do, putting those in, but it is possible, and we do already have pre-approval from Shelley that she will approve that. She just said that we have to get approval from you, and then we'd have to get a permit to move forward. But we are trying to do it the right way and work with the neighbor. If we can come to some agreement and just tie it back into the main sewer, and that's what we'd like to do. And we did bring a dollar amount of what that would cost if you'd like to see that.
Is the DNR cleared this?
That would be part of that permitting process. Nobody's spoken to the DNR.
Yes, we don't have anything on that.
Assumed that talking to the city of Pocahontas and the Calhoun County person covered that.
Don't know for sure, but I would almost bet you're gonna have to talk to the DNR.
Okay.
Find out for sure.
Okay.
So this is a really silly question, honestly. Like, why would myself as a neighbor, like, roadblock, or like, what would be the issue there? Besides a bunch of, I don't know, I don't understand.
That's your answer. It's a challenging neighbor situation. We have made an offer to do his sewer also. We have bent over backwards, but our attorney is taking that offer to his attorney. I don't know that we will have resolved, but we're property landowners. I've never had a community. We work in a 22 county area, even though Udmost County is 12 counties in northwest Iowa, north central. I don't know, but I can't continue to own a business and operate it without a functioning sewer.
Yeah.
And so I really need council support. We've spoken to many people at the city councilman, mayor, chief of police, different police officers. Like, we are so many feet from finishing this, but we can't get it done. So we have to come up with
Is there an
another
option of putting the holding tank in this?
That would have been our second choice, but Calhoun County, she wasn't really in favor of that. That would have been my second choice, and the third choice would have been the septic tank.
Yeah, something worked out.
Because we got plenty of land that they can come in and pump that out, and for the amount of employees there,
What about a grinder pump and boring it under the highway and going under, or like along
onto this
onto
county
the
side.
onto the other side and hooking up?
Haven't.
Either going
I did explore that option, and I was told that was too far to take a septic line, our private septic line out the back of the building and over there.
But even with a pressurized sewer, if you did a grinder pump?
I didn't ask
Yeah,
about that.
that's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. If you wanna help me do
No, I've
something.
been thinking about it.
Okay, we'll take any help, but this is just really
just didn't know
been
where we-
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it's really gone on too long. Like, we're a business in town too, you know, and we're supported by the city and the county for our services. So we just really need some official help. I don't understand how it's continued to be roadblocked. If you could do something on that and we can do the number one thing and just finish it, that would be great.
I mean, what has the discussion been from our point to the other party involved?
The city's not involved in that, it's the neighbors fighting with them.
So, no one from the city has discussed with that neighbor anything?
They have their attorneys involved and we are not in that.
I think those conversations happened
Yeah,
from March till
I'm with
whatever day it
Kim
was, May,
as far as
mid-May.
trying to figure out what where toes were stepped on along the process. Like, obviously something happened that started a snowball effect, and
Well, we were told the sewer went to the west.
Sure.
And you'd connect and there you go. Well, then it went to the south. I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know that I want it all on record, but I mean, I can give you the long story afterwards.
Yeah.
Of the different aspects. They're almost too many to keep.
like, was it it just seems so
Yeah, I don't know.
oblivious. Like, was there miscommunication along the way, or did he think that there was gonna be money
I mean,
involved?
I can give
don't
you the
know.
police department's version of this to keep it very
Yeah,
neutral in the
yeah.
sense. So Mason's the one that got called down there, and so basically the problem became is that Upper Des Moines is landlocked.
Yeah.
They have no way, so they have to easement out through something. But this became the question of where are these easements? Were they ever properly recorded? As we all know, in our lovely rural cities, sometimes things aren't. We don't know.
We have a warranty deed with an easement of 1.5 feet,
Okay, so
kind of thing.
and I hadn't seen that yet, but
I have a copy.
so that was the thing. So one side wanted to get connected, is what we were told. One side said, "Hey, as long as you connect us, we'll allow you to go through our property, and we'll do that." Now they were under the belief that they had an easement, so they continued, and the contractor continued the work. It went down there. Now, then there was this commentary from the city that they needed permits that they didn't need to have, which then Mason became very upset about. And he's like, okay, everybody needs to stop. And unfortunately then, not stop as far as work, is that we need to stop the conflict, because at the end of the day, it becomes a civil problem. And so then that's where we stepped away from it, from this fact, because then we had to call Justin, and then I'm talking to Justin about where the easements are. The police department went way into something we're not normally usually in.
That's what, it's hard for me to believe that as a city, we wouldn't have access to infrastructure that we need. That's why I think that, like, at some point, that's a little bit on us too, because say a water pipe burst under somebody's house, like, what's the legality? I mean, maybe that's a bad analogy, but like, the city has to have a right to fix infrastructure for the city to continue to exist.
Right,
And I
and
don't know what the legality of that looks like.
And
It only goes past the curb. The city.
Right.
It's up to the homeowner after that.
To get to the
The landowner to
To
get
get-
to
'cause
the city's main.
And so we have because we have the one property up by the hospital that also lives in this, what I call the island, where it's not connected to anything, and it's always been out in that. At the end of the day, and then Cody and I had talked about this, because then as we were talking, and I was getting, because since he's a contractor and stuff, understanding this stuff, was the fact that realistically, and this comes from then the economic development side of it too, is that should we have any landlocked property? So even should the city get an extension built out in there, which they could legally do, because my understanding, even the state of Iowa was contacted, and they're like, it's not going under the road, so just use our easement. But the state law doesn't allow you to use a public easement. So
the state law won't even let the city, the state won't even let the city use the easement to put a sewer line in there?
the city can ask and then get the permits and do that, is my understanding. But a private citizen cannot use public easements, is what I found in all this. I learned a ton on this too, so, you know. But that's where the problem is that at the end of the day, Upper Des Moines, and that's the bigger problem, is absolutely landlocked. And we should probably have landlocked property, because that's what I hate about that house up in the northwest corner too. It's a cute little house, but I mean, it's in a significant run to get that sewer. But I also understand why the sewer, it's only one house, but I don't know. I know the right answers, I'm just a cow, so.
Thank you. It's honestly rendered the property useless, purchased before my existence as the executive director kind of thing, but yeah, we're just in a quandary of we're trying to find a solution to get out of this and continue to do business.
Are you open?
We're open without restroom or running water since March 23rd.
No running water?
No, you
I
can't
like
run
it, you
water
can't
down
run
the
water if
sewer.
you can't put it down the drain.
Because we're providing services to low-income families within
Right.
this county.
Right. It's a tough one, I don't know what the answer is to that.
But you don't think you put in a temporary holding tank? Cause then we can pump it out and then haul it down to the,
If you would allow that, yes, I would put one in.
I mean, we got
But
one out.
temporary could become permanent, to be honest with you, Brian. You know,
Yeah,
I'm just,
cause I mean, we pump out the,
Yeah.
that's a part.
yeah, and I'm okay with that because we don't have a lot of employees there, you know?
You start from, approve a
Right.
approve a leach field, you're gonna put a tank in. You start with the tank.
Yeah.
You get that in. Contractor's gotta come back in a couple months to do the leach field, the city's gotta come down and pump the tank out a couple times.
And that's what Justin had kind of
That
said.
might give us some time to get something.
I think you just,
I also am concerned, you know, we paid $11,500 to get the sewer where it is now because Lord knows how many times he continued to send Travis home, the contractor. So we have paid that bill because we do business the right way. And now I'm looking for another solution. The septic tank, he has been very reasonable with us, beyond reasonable. I don't even want to let you know the price. At about $9,000, $9,000 to $10,000, he would do that septic, which is far below market price. I did not get a price. We did not get a price for the holding tank, but that was because Shelley had said she wasn't really in favor of that. But if we can do that, we would absolutely do that. But I'm also concerned at the total cost of continuing to add.
I mean, if you would put a septic tank in.
Right.
And use that
As-
as your holding tank.
Okay.
until-
And pump that out
And pump
until,
that out.
Until
Okay.
things get figured out.
Turn around, if things
Sure.
With the leach.
turn around, take that out
Sure.
and sell it, and get reinstalled someplace else.
sounds like Brian has, or Cody has connections.
I'm guessing your contractor probably
He might.
knows of.
He's been very helpful.
Do you guys want to have something from the DNR for proof, or you guys are not really in favor of
For the
septic
holding
system?
tank, I don't think we have to, but
I
for,
just think it's more the county than it's the.
Problem is we can't, Shelley won't sign off on a holding tank.
But I mean, if we approve a leach field,
Yeah.
But do the holding tank first.
well, the tank,
You
you
have
got
to-
you got so much room in the tank.
right,
And if your contractor can't come put the leach field in for, might be busy.
Okay.
6 months.
Well, and he might be busy, so the holding tank wouldn't be a problem. It's just if we could get approval, so if that doesn't work
Yes,
out,
and then you,
then we'll finish the leach
Then
field.
you'll
If
finish
not,
the leach
yes.
And I'm still gonna try to hook up to the sewer. Like, that's
Right.
not done. That's our number one. But
Right.
then if we can put the
to
holding
get
tank on,
something going right away.
yeah.
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 Probably.
And that's why we wanted to come to this city council meeting and not wait 2 more weeks, because that's 2 more weeks down the road.
Right.
Probably could
Right.
get a tank yet this week if you're getting a contract.
Yeah, we're willing to do whatever, just to keep progress going.
What's your name again?
Julie Hodebeck Edwards.
And knew the how that too, and then I was trying to think.
Julie, really quickly, I'm sure you said it and I missed it. Who was Shelley at Calhoun County? Like, what's that connection?
She's
Shelley
actually the
Schessel.
public health.
Shelley
Public
Shasso.
health related to your business?
No.
No,
No, public health isn't public health.
Yes.
yes.
But
To the county.
the two counties
She's the county
share.
sanitarian.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cover Pocahontas County too.
yes.
Yes.
Oh,
You
thank you.
the two counties share.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
thank you so
Mhm.
much. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
I think it's important to support you so that you can continue to do things that you need to do because it's important work. I think that working with Plan A being the plan that you continue to pursue and allowing those conversations to exist should be the number one priority, but also getting you what you need temporarily to continue to do that would be what I think we should try to get done today.
So do we need to have a motion to support them with a leach field? Do you wanna go that far? Do we
Better
wanna
start off with just, she's,
approve the holding pool?
And they said we
We'll
can
call
put
it
a holding
septic.
tank in without permits or anything, cause it's temporary.
Right.
right.
So like that wasn't a problem, like we can put a holding tank in. It's
For
cheap.
temporary.
Correct.
Okay.
So I don't think we have to go through anybody for that. We were just trying to not spend money until.
Right.
I mean, we're still trying to do the legal side, but you also
Right.
don't wanna, we could take another month or 6 months.
So do we need to do anything?
Cause we were asking for approval for the septic tank
Right.
with the leach field because that's all that Shelley would approve. The
Right.
holding tank, we wouldn't need approval for.
Let's go, Brian.
Yeah, how do you wanna word that?
Temporary holding tank
Make a-
until
yeah, make a
further
motion
notice.
to-
Cause we can still put the septic tank in and we'll call it our holding tank.
Or I make the motion, you put in a septic / holding tank from approval from the DNR in the county for the leach field. Or if you can resolve the other problem first, it'd be a lot better.
Yes.
Okay.
Second?
All that.
I did.
And that's, but, you know, looking into a grinder pump too. I don't know.
If you could.
Yep, we can absolutely look at that.
City probably, I don't, bore, they got one.
Yeah,
They probably could bore it if that's, came down to it.
yeah, we've done it out at Prairie State.
Or the line to the sewer.
Sure.
Yeah.
If that's a better option. No, without talking to everybody, but, you know, that could be another option.
But for time being, so you, yeah.
No, don't want you to go buy a tank and come find out, well, why didn't we just do this?
Okay, we'll check into that.
I can talk
Maybe
to,
do some more checking and
Yes, I'll
maybe
do
we'll
some more
get
checking.
back on
Okay,
to another
I
meeting.
got an
You
email,
have
I got an
Kyle's
email with
number,
the
right?
number on it.
okay,
I can get it from
perfect.
somebody.
We'll keep you posted.
Okay, so we're gonna take Brian's motion and I need a second then. So let's give it to Wes. Brian and Wes second. All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry to take up so much of your time.
That's okay,
Okay.
that's all right.
We'll be in touch.
All right, approve resolution 18/2026.
We approved the amendments, I did not have the resolution in the packet at the time. So this is just the resolution to support the amendment.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the resolution real quick, cause it's very short. Resolution approving fiscal year 26 budget amendment for the city of Pocahontas. Whereas the city council of Pocahontas, Iowa has prepared a budget amendment for the fiscal year 25-26, and whereas the city council has held a public hearing to review said budget amendment and to receive written and oral comments or objections from the public to said budget amendment, and whereas the city council pursuant to chapter 384.165 of the code desires to adopt said budget amendment. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the city council of Pocahontas, Iowa, that the budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year is hereby adopted. We did not do a roll call. It was passed, but we did not do a roll call. I would like to at least do that roll call now. Does that work?
Why wouldn't you have the resolution? Would have been rolled out before.
She did not have the resolution written up. But we
Motion
motioned,
and seconded.
we motioned and second to do
Alright,
that.
Can we just motion and second again and do a roll call?
Let's do it.
I'll make a motion to pass this resolution.
Second.
Cody and Brian. Stover.
Aye.
Harrison. Van Dam. DeWall. Motion carried. Or passed. Or,
Kim.
oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about Kim.
Hold on.
So now we gotta do a claim.
Do we
Oh.
do this because this was the budget
Right.
amendment was done
Oh,
before she was
before
on
I-
council.
Right,
So I don't know if
technically,
you
she
wanna,
wasn't on yet.
I think we
Good
should
catch.
just,
Just note that.
Yeah.
Good catch.
okay.
You signed one and I signed.
Whatever.
Hey, we got it.
Alright, so that's taken care of.
I do need your bill signed and passed up too, before you guys, just, thank you.
On that
You
motion.
administered the oath already? Yeah. This is what you want signed, is these?
Yep.
I'm not gonna take some of this electric stuff. I talked with Greg for the past week or two.
I don't
I talked to her too, you know.
Did you sign that, Cody?
Brian's eye.
Okay.
No, cause you didn't vote, no.
Right.
I'm gonna move on while you're signing that. Discussion and approval of IAMU mutual aid agreement.
So Craig Wilson from Copeg reached out, past couple weeks, we've been talking about things that need to just get brought up to speed as far as, or just addressed for the electrical department in general. So, this mutual aid, pretty brief in the fact that storm season, especially the last tornadoes that ran through, he almost needed to kind of call for backup from surrounding communities because of all of the damage that was done. But we don't technically have like that agreement, in writing. And so West Bend and Granger approved theirs at their last meeting. He's just suggesting that we go ahead and approve this policy as well, so that if he should need to help, in the way the weather's looking for the rest of the summer, probably will, they can call for it. So that's kind of what this overview is.
I move that we accept it.
Second.
Brian and Cody. I think it looks pretty straightforward myself. What's new with utility?
It just, I'll put that in.
All in favor?
Aye. Like before you put pen to paper there.
Sorry, I get a little ahead of myself and forget my process.
Next one is something we just haven't addressed since Dewey left, in that, Cody was the alternate for the COPEG committee. We need to decide if Cody wants to move up to being the COPEG representative, and we elect an alternate, or how we wanna work that out. But Craig said So
Yeah,
yeah,
next
it'll be,
Tuesday.
yeah, at 4:30 that evening. Would love for someone per day to come
So
in.
Cody, are
I
you
would
gonna,
move up.
you would move up, so we need a, alternate.
Like,
Okay,
if-
let me tell you about Copay. So, serving as mayor, I heard a lot about Copay, and every time a representative talked, my head spun. I honestly don't think I'm smart enough to be a representative for Copay. So if I were you, I'd be pointing
Well,
elsewhere.
they're all pretty good at explaining things, so.
They are. If you, I mean, I'm more than willing to do that, but I honestly don't know if I have the skill set to be a good rep, but I'm more than happy to do
Well,
it.
would you, Cody will be the rep if you'll be the alternate.
I could do that.
You'll be the alternate,
I could
okay?
do
And
that.
I just went along to do it, but.
Sure. He's skeptical.
And I went along with you maybe twice.
Yeah.
But I was just more interested, one person's fine, just,
Okay.
you don't have to have two people there.
Right.
I would just,
Right, so
wanted-
just
I just kinda wanted to go along, and Dewey wanted me to go along the first time.
Okay, if they have to have somebody to do a vote or something, and
Yeah,
I can talk to you before, so.
Yeah, it's only one vote, one person votes.
Okay, yeah, okay. I
And
can-
it's more if I can't make it, I'd be happy to go.
Sure.
And just get the information.
Sure.
I'll make a motion that appoints Cody as the Copay representative and Kim as the alternate.
So Nicole's making a motion, Wes is gonna second. All in favor? Motion carried. Alright, now, next is discussion and possible action regarding the current power supply contract with RPGI. I don't know nothing about that.
So I talked to Craig this afternoon, and he jotted down this email I gave you guys a copy of. This is just something to put on our radar, nothing really needs to be decided tonight, but we need to know that things are opening up and they're gonna possibly change one of our carriers by December 1st. So nothing needs to be decided. They're trying to get NIMECA a little more involved, maybe instead of RPGI.
So a little more on that, I think from a decision standpoint, it was recommended by Greg, and I also talked to Greg Fritz just on the side about city things, but then we ventured into a little bit of this conversation too with, obviously he's part of NIMECA, so, from Craig's take on it, and again, kind of just reading an email directly from him, it sounds like other utilities within Copay are not in RPGI, I believe, they use other suppliers. Again, I'm like, Cam, where a lot of this is like a little over my head. But it sounds like we have to give 24 months notice to kind of get out of our contract, and so, because there are conversations happening with RPGI, with other power supply, companies, right now Pocahontas isn't really privy to that information because they don't necessarily, we just don't really have like a contact person that's been a part of those discussions. So his suggestion was not that we really need like a committee of us or anything, but just allowing him to be that contact so that he can be privy to that information and those discussions and kind of like represent us a little bit more. And he does kind of mention that right now we're maybe not getting the most competitive rates, and we're also not necessarily getting that interactive discussion or feedback with our current supply contract. So he just suggests that like if we're gonna do something, it's a long process to get out, so we need to kind of start being a little more on the forefront of like allowing him to be that contact person, get us that information, and then also potentially having other people from other companies come and discuss what they could offer us that we may not be getting from our current contract. So I think from a like decision standpoint, I'm not sure if there needs to be like a full decision other than allowing Craig to be that contact person for us, and then also kind of having the understanding that in future meetings we may invite people from other companies to have those discussions and be open to possibly looking at a different supply company. don't give 24 months to get out, we are committed to another 5 years, which should be probably detrimental under the new supply contract, or supplier that they potentially are going with.
So we need to start that 24 months now?
You say we have to give notice by December at the latest of what our decision is, so we need to start getting information so we can make that decision by the end of the year.
Just see if anybody wants us.
Yeah, basically.
So do we need to take any action on this?
Not if he's keeping us informed, right?
I would, maybe just for like sake of covering, I would make a motion that Craig is our contact person for our PGI. And that it's kind of on him to be able to have those conversations going forward, and we're opening up the process to look at other supply contracts, the potential of going with them.
That's your motion.
That's my motion.
Second.
Nicole and Brian. All in favor? Motion carried.
The last thing with the electric that I was talking with Craig about is that, there's some pretty important reports, as noted on the agenda, what they are, letters and numbers there. ME-1 and EIA 861. These were to be due to the state May 1st, and we are one of 3 entities that have not gotten those done yet. It sounds like we're kind of waiting on a bunch of numbers to be able to complete them, and they kind of go hand in hand. In order for him to complete his side of things, he needs these numbers, and then they need to be submitted at the same time. And so we need to go ahead and get that done. It said, I believe he said that there's 2 different entities, the state and IAMU, and they're kind of, IAMU is kind of helping keep the state off of us, and they're being a little lenient, but we definitely need to get that resolved stat.
Well, I can give a little background on this. We, Janine, you're gonna have to help me. We stumbled across, just in our lovely system, 163 customers were not charged for electric. And
For this month.
For this month.
For this month.
there are some that have not been charged since 2020.
Okay.
So, these reports, just from a million, what do you say, million mile view, those reports are gonna have to be audited for years and years and years gone by now, because the numbers have not been accurate. We're saying we have so many people on the billing, and then you run the numbers and we're missing 163. We also found 200 people sitting in new customer status for over 3 years. So they've never received a bill, but they've just been sitting in new customer status. So all of that's gotta come together before I can get this report anywhere near something that Jeff Gorey will take in the state.
And so, Laura, again, except my ignorance here, so when you say they're standing in wherever limbo,
Yeah.
was that a software limbo? Is that a personnel limbo? What is the limbo part of that? My
It's
limbo.
probably a little bit of both,
Okay,
to be honest.
okay.
Because you've got to check, there's a 91-page report that comes out every month, and you have to go page by page and not get interrupted 25 times to make sure everybody is set up and accurate. And so out of our 1,700 residents, whatever that percentage comes out to be, has been wrong for several years.
Thank you.
Yes. We don't know if there's a way to back bill on any of that yet. Craig's coming to town again tomorrow, so we can figure that out. Cause I don't know about back billing somebody for 6 years. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, we may be able to go back 90 days, we may not be able to go back at all, I don't know.
Right.
That's Craig was gonna research it and let me know. So that's why those 2 are not done.
When was that discovered?
It has been tossed around here these last couple of months, but this was just discovered Friday, and that's why the emails went out, and then we went, wait a minute. So, that's when we finally ran across some reports that said who it was, or whose houses.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Brandy, how did you keep track of it?
I went through that report 4 or 5 times a month. There's no way that this has been wrong for 3 or 4 years. No way.
So,
No, it hasn't. We have made it through our annual reports. They've all passed. Everything has been fine. Stop putting this on past people.
I will say that from Craig's information, he actually suggested that we utilize Brandy to get this resolved. He mentioned that, his suggestion to the council would be to hire her, which I know that you don't even know this yet, Brandy, but, his suggestion would be to hire her if she is willing, because he's had his portion of it done since mid-March, and, in his words, Brandy had done her report very well in the past years. He also mentioned that, I believe it is Lisa from West Bend, had reached out to try to help get this resolved, and, that effort kind of fell on deaf ears, but mentioned that, this is something that numbers should be kept up to date monthly, and that likely was not getting done, and so to go back to access those numbers was what caused the delay, because the numbers appear to be missing because they weren't kept up on in a monthly manner. So I think that, he said, other utilities, clerks keep track of monthly data. That makes this report very easy, and Pocahontas hasn't been doing that, making the numbers very hard to find, and seems to be a lot of missing information. But it is something that he said he thinks that IAMU would be willing to drive up and try to get resolved, but at this point, we at least need to have a discussion about what it looks like and make sure the entities that these reports are going to need to at least be aware that we are going to be delayed even further, or what we need to do to be able to be compliant, because missing deadlines is not something that I love that we're doing a lot of, especially when other people did their work well in advance to try to get that done, so.
Okay, so, again, sometimes with my old age, it takes me a couple different times.
Sure.
So, knowing that there's lots of missing pieces here and financial pieces that aren't working well, when did we realize this in-house? Friday, okay, so, okay, that's just my only question was.
And it's hard, we've not had, a steady person in that position or full training on how these things are supposed to be kept, so it's,
And what position is that for?
it'd be the clerk.
The clerk position,
Yeah.
got it, okay.
And Craig's approach to this has changed since I talked to him. So the IAMU part, for sure, probably helping out is gonna be the way to go. Lisa and I worked diligently, and she's the one that told me, you're missing 165. Well, we just found 163 of them.
So I think the fact that we know there is, citizens not being billed correctly, and the fact that we found that on Friday, that should have probably been on this agenda to address how we're going to deal with that, because you're here for 4 more days.
I don't know what I can do yet. That's the thing, is we have to find out if we can back bill or what we do. We may have to go look at every house and start like it's new, which means the guys have to go read the ERP numbers.
And
So
he mentioned that this has been going on for a few months previously. So I think at this point, my view on it is that we need somebody else to be privy to all of this information, because you're done in 4 days. And there is a lot of missing pieces, and the more we look into it, the bigger that problem gets. And that's where my concern is going to come in, because whoever, again, we're asking to take on this position, there is a lot of stuff that has to be followed up on and tightened up.
if we can find the existing billing registers, and normally they're kept, then hopefully
There'll be a
we can
last reading.
recreate what they need for the ME. But your current system doesn't save those billing registers. Once you do a new one, the old one is gone, which isn't true with this company that we looked at. But that being said, I'm sure what Randy did before, if she reset her totals every month, so she had them, if she kept it on a spreadsheet, I don't know for sure, that's what I was trying to ask, was how did she keep track of it? Because, yeah, that worked, but if nobody knew that you were gonna have to do that, then some of those record-keeping things weren't there.
I think, again, going forward, what are the ramifications of missing this deadline and how much leeway do we have to get this all tidied up?
I'm in touch with Jeff, and he's giving us as much leeway as he can. He didn't give me a definite, by this day, I have to have it. He did that a while ago.
Who's Jeff Morris?
What?
Who's Jeff?
Jeff Laura, he's IAMU.
Okay.
Yeah. So he knows that we're looking for these 163. He knows that we found them. So he said, just keep going, try and find the old registers and see what we can do to get the numbers in there. So that's where we're at. But at least we found them. Holy Moses, we've been spending so much time on that.
Can I ask a really simple question of how you found them? Like, do you have like a 5-word response to that? Or is it more lengthy than that? Like,
We accidentally ran a report.
There you go.
And there they came.
There you go. Okay.
So what is our recourse moving forward to get?
That's one of my things to have done yet this week.
So you think you'll have the report and all of this?
The EIA 861, that's Craig's part. But he does take the numbers from the ME1.
Right.
So my goal is to have the ME1 by the week, for sure.
Okay.
That's on my top to-dos. That's the house.
Those are the tops, the 6 of them. Oh.
So that's the update on that, I guess.
Okay, so, do we need to take any action on this? So we're just gonna kinda, do we have to table it, or do we just,
I can give you an
Let it
update
go.
maybe on Thursday when we have a special.
okay, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Alright, moving on, discussion and action regarding Elbert Park West Shelter bid, publication, contractor and project timeline. What do we need to do for that? Did you get the bid finalized? So that's something we can just table till next time, or?
We're gonna have to move the timeline at this point, cause we said that bids will be due June 30th, but we
There's no
can't.
way to get that done.
Yeah,
We went through it step by step.
right, and I think what I was told was I didn't know who was going to finalize it, so I touched base with Steph, and Steph mentioned she gave it to insurance committee to verify. She had taken the notes from the meeting, drew up a rough draft bid, gave it to insurance committee, and then you were gonna fine tune it, was what I was told, to finalize it so that we could approve the bid to publish it. And then I reached out to you last week to see if you wanted my notes or wanted help, but I didn't hear anything, so. But I'm happy to get it, I think that bid needs to be finalized and put in the paper, because again, we need to have the work done
ASAP.
now, yeah.
So do you have the notes of what?
Yeah, I have all my notes from the meeting, and I'd be happy, I don't have the rough draft that Steph drafted together, or maybe, she might have sent it to me actually.
What she sent me was very vague.
Okay,
So I mean, it could be,
and if,
other than how the contract worked, it was the description that was very.
right, and the specifications we all laid out,
It's basically just need to be folks.
toss that in there, I'm happy to do that, and we'll get that done tomorrow if that's something you want me to do. I just know that, she touched base with the insurance committee, I'm not on the insurance committee, I don't wanna insert myself, but if it's something that needs to be done, I'm happy to finalize it and get it done so that we can all have it and approve it maybe later this week.
What was the connection with the insurance committee to figure out the?
I think when I asked Steph about who was gonna draft that up, she said that she had taken the rough rough notes from the thing, and that her point of contact is the insurance committee, so she said she sent her rough draft to you guys. I don't think I got it. I don't know. I know I didn't get it without me asking for it, but, you know, again, that's why we have those committees, is so that people have their points of contact and that they're not having to have the same conversations multiple times. So she said she sent it to insurance committee to make sure that, to bring to the meeting, basically, to finalize and bring to the meeting, to approve it, to publish it. And that's why I reached out to you to help finalize that if you wanted my help, and if you don't,
No,
I'm happy stepping back.
I just mean, I thought that was part of your guys' committee to come up with the.
And I think that's where there's overlap, and probably looking at it, there should have been all of us included, but I think it's.
You throw those, what we all went over on the last meeting, I will look over it again and see if there's anything I think is missing from my experience.
Sounds good.
Go from there.
Hopefully we can have that on the next agenda.
Hopefully we can prove it on, yeah, sooner rather than later.
So do we need to take any action on it at all? I don't think we do we? Discussion and possible action regarding formal contract for proposed cemetery maintenance agreement with Pokey Travel Club. I know Ryan has been out of the country.
I was gonna say, I haven't heard anything since last meeting, which is why I
it
came
tomorrow
back.
he's supposed to be back, or the next day or two he's supposed to
I
be
think
back?
he's back Thursday.
Well, he'll be in town on Thursday for sure, so I will touch base with him.
Either way, we mow tomorrow morning and we weed eat tomorrow afternoon, so it'll be done again.
It looked
Yeah.
great,
Good.
so thank you.
Very nice.
It looks good. Yeah, so that's how it will continue to look. So,
Well,
I just, go ahead.
I know they used to mow, and I know there's road construction going on now, but I'm pretty sure they used to mow from the cemetery up to the bridge.
That's what I was wondering as well, is
But I think
where the
there's
lines.
equipment and stuff sitting there. I don't know where the property line is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
If
I
it
think
looks,
comes up to.
if it looks
It goes up to
long,
the bridge.
if it looks long and I can get in there, I'll just do it tomorrow, all the way up to, so, that's no problem. So that was one question I had
Yes,
when,
that is
when
all
we
the
started to go, I was like, okay, how far down does the line go, so. Other than that, that's how it'll look though, so. But no, I hadn't heard anything, and I heard there was a meeting, and I was like, I better come make sure you didn't need me.
You're good,
Okay.
you're good.
Hopefully your daughter's not out in the car again.
No, I didn't
Okay.
make that mistake.
I was gonna say, oh.
Thanks, guys.
Well, next time if you hear it's on the agenda, call and see if there's anything to talk about.
I should have also checked to see
Before you come to the meeting.
where it was on the agenda.
Yeah.
You got my number.
Yeah, have a good one, everyone.
Thanks.
So that needs to be on the next agenda also.
If we have any information.
I think,
There's no reason to have it on the agenda again if there's nothing to talk about.
Ryan doesn't have the contract for all that.
I believe Ryan will,
If he
the
does.
last I talked to him, he was gonna have it done before he left, but he didn't get it to me, so I'm gonna guess that he will have it done as soon as he gets back. I think they're supposed to be back here
I'm gonna
tomorrow.
make a motion for coverage purposes, because I believe the first motion I made last meeting was for a 14-day extension temporary. So I'm going to make a motion tonight to continue to temporarily approve them to do that work until we can finalize all the legal matters that we stated at the previous meeting. Ideally, within the next 2 weeks, with another extension of 2 weeks.
I'll find out and let everybody know what Ryan
I will
has to
second
say.
that.
Thanks. So Nicole and Cody. All in favor? Motion carried. Update and possible discussion regarding November 24 treasurer report reconciliation.
So this came in today from Nick, you guys have it. He has November settled, right, and he's on December. So he has moved on, he was sick a couple days, but he was working on it on the weekend, and he said he's around to keep pushing this along this week. So we'll just keep going from one month to the next, get them all caught up.
We don't need to sign that. That's just.
This is just
possible action regarding outstanding curb, gutter, driveway, and drainage repair concerns associated with prior city utility or infrastructure work. Let's spit it out.
I asked to put this on just to follow up with the conversations we had at the past few meetings. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, when our citizens come and speak and these conversations occur, that we're continuing to provide updates and that we're making movement to show that we're trying to address this, whether or not it's immediate correction. That may not be the case, but at least we're starting that process. So again, following up on these projects because we know that there'll be some transition time there. Trying to figure out the stuff that was brought up with Mr. Bevins and with Mr. Horner at the last meeting and where we're at on addressing those issues.
The guys have really not had time to dig into that with getting the pool ready and the shelter houses and mowing, and we're still down a guy. So it has not really been a discussion. I do have a note out to Dave. He's gonna go check something tomorrow that has to do with what Larry's concern was. So we can keep working on that. He knows it's out there. They just haven't really had time.
That's something Dave has thought to be doing themselves, or
Well, what he's checking is gonna be a water situation.
see if something needs fixed before.
Needs fixed before we go down that
Before we go
road.
and fix
Yeah.
the.
Cause then we have to decide probably what's gonna be repaired, and is it blacktop services, is it, you know, where's that road use
I
money
know they've
gonna
done a
go?
little concrete right now that they want to do.
Exactly, they do more seal chip stuff with blacktop, so.
I would be willing to talk to Dave and get it, kind of come up with a list
Yeah,
of what
That would be
he thinks needs to be done, and
yeah,
I know many other ones, and just bring them back and go from there.
yeah, it's just a matter of getting a list together and knocking it out.
I think as far as under this heading with the just projects of, there exists a current massive liability down at the baseball field. In that there's a post that was either damaged purposely or damaged somehow by a storm. I'm not sure what.
It was not, we and Stephanie confirmed on that there's a bolt missing at the bottom that was never installed in it.
Okay.
So basically what happened is over time, and then the board got weak, and I mean, somebody could have pushed against it, or whatever, but it weakened it. So
Sure.
no, actually Stephanie and then the mayor got into that, little linked into it
How,
too.
so we need to get this fixed. Who's gonna fix it?
Yeah, right
So
now.
that's your city guys, or your park and recs committee actually by code.
It's a 4x4, I think.
Post?
10-foot tall.
Visually looking
Yeah.
at it,
Yeah.
that is basically oblique fractured in my medical terms. There's a straight diagonal cut, so like it's sitting on the ground and not supported, and it looks like the roof is sagging, and they continue to have games. And
What is it?
so the dugout,
Oh, the
of
dugout,
the
okay,
baseball.
yeah.
So there's like 4 beams that go up and support the like overhang roof, and one of those beams is down.
Yeah, literally, Cody, it's a 4x4, 10-foot long, approximately, that needs like 4 holes drilled in it.
Yeah, at this point, like I'm gonna run to Menards and put a full with my own impact.
It's
because
really, it'd be a simple fix. I mean,
it's rough to be down there multiple
I
times
think
per
we
week.
need down there.
Yeah, to watch the kids sitting under it and realizing what that exposes us to.
I didn't know that.
and you need a
was
bolt,
going
because there's one missing.
There's one missing.
on. Okay, they've got the roofs to do it too, so.
Yeah, I
they need
think-
to put on, so.
Send him up if he needs a 4x4.
uh,
If he needs a 4x4,
Cindy's,
Send
okay,
them up,
there
right.
we go. Right. I'll get Dave on that tomorrow. I didn't realize there was anything. Thank you.
Okay, do we need to take any action on this other than Cody is going to put stuff together? Just discussion. Okay, discussion of possible action regarding the hiring process for the city clerk position. We kind of talked about that a little bit earlier. I think we need to start from square one again. And at least 2 to 3 people be on a committee to, do some interviews, at least 2. As the mayor, I don't have a vote. I would like to be one of the
Then you
people.
could be the third one.
I could be the third one. 2 council members, if we got any volunteers. Kim and Nicole.
But you guys can't all be together.
Right.
Just the two.
The two council members and the mayor. I don't have a vote, I
Right,
can't say.
so that part's
So-
fine, but you and Kim, you can't meet at the same time, and my understanding is you can't discuss it among yourselves, because that constitutes a quorum.
Correct. But why can't we have two people? Why can't we have two council members
You
together?
can, but I thought it was somebody else, it's
Yeah.
just the
Kim
two
and
of you.
just
Just the two.
Nicole
Yeah,
and
just the
Kim.
two.
Yeah.
Well, we could bring somebody in from the community too.
That's
Sometimes
what,
that happens too.
I mean, I think nailing down this process so we can get this started is, are we gonna use an agency like that has been done in the past for the city administrator? Are we doing that for the clerk too? How are we involving, what does this process look like? Because I think it's important that where we're at as a community right now, the city feels heard and feels involvement, and as a citizen that was involved in hiring the superintendent, I value their transparency and their input from many different members of different organizations, to help repair that trust with the community. So I think we're nailing down the process of like, approve this job description, where are we going to run it, how are we going to manage, what dates are we going to aim for?
I think our little committee needs to get together and nail all of this down. I don't know if we can come to the guys and say, okay, this is what we have figured out, this is what,
Send it out in an email.
and send it out in
give
an
our-
email and say, this is the breakdown of what we have figured out. If you have any concerns, problems, issues, or if you like it, let us know. But I think we need to sit down and, you can type, I can't, I'll write it out, but I'm not very good at typing it very
I
fast.
feel we need to get both of them advertised, see what we get for both position and people that decide.
Right.
I think
And
that's
But
where my comment comes from, is that I know that the previous city administrator position was done under a hiring agency. And I think we need to make that decision, is that the route we're gonna go down, or if not, where are we going to publish this to make sure that it gets to the people that we want it to get to and get us options that are quality candidate.
Previous before, or it was the hiring agency.
I was
You-
hiring agency too, but
But we never really hired you through the hiring agency.
no, I just interviewed
The
during
second
that
time,
process.
we contacted you and hired,
Because that was in
because
23.
you were in the first round,
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
The first round was through the hiring
The
agency.
process to find the candidates was through an agency, and then things transpired and you took
yes.
other candidates you had found from there.
If you do use an agency, he does go further out. You know,
Yeah.
which
I think
would
there's,
give you maybe more qualifications.
I think there's ways that you can advertise for this position to the appropriate markets without an agency, and maybe save that money up front. And if you let it sit for 2, 3, 4, whatever weeks, and you don't get those candidates, then you could potentially look, that's my own personal view on it. I'm open to whatever discussion we wanna do, but it's something that we need to get the ball rolling on, because again, we don't wanna ask someone to be an intern for months on end at this point.
What keeps going around in my head, and of course I have no say in anything, but, do we have to have a city administrator? We do have to have a city clerk, but if we have a city clerk with an assistant and our billing clerk,
That is something that the league talked about, and I'm gonna get the terminology messed up because I don't have my notes to refer back to, but he said that, actually a lot of people I've talked about familiar with this position specifically would recommend that at least 3 people still continue to be in
Yes.
office and never eliminating a position. There's too much work for a city our size. But the way that the positions would be, described or assigned might be different. He said a lot of cities our size are maybe doing like deputy clerks, and so it's not necessarily like two specific roles, but they're shared responsibilities amongst themselves, and everyone can continue to operate if something should happen with one versus the other.
Right.
He said it makes it a little more of a fluid situation, and a lot of those, I think Humboldt, granted they have like 6 people in next to the office, but they definitely have a clerk and a deputy clerk and stuff like that, so.
I feel you need to advertise for the best in both positions.
Right.
And see what you get, and then decide, look at this
Cause
one.
this position
Maybe
is
somebody-
different than the other two, like, there's definitely.
Right, and
You know,
the thing is that if you restructured, those responsibilities wouldn't necessarily be as delineated, in that your city clerk is more of the administrator by trade, in that they oversee all of the things happening, and the deputy clerk, I believe I have that correctly, would be the one doing the actual financials and stuff like that, the logistics side of it, and being in charge of the books and stuff. So it's not necessarily that we're wanting someone that's really good in this side and someone that's really good in this side, but more of a cohesive manner where if something happens and the clerk has to be gone for 2 weeks because of a medical leave or a pregnancy situation or something, you can continue to operate without having to give them access to sign accounts and sign checks and stuff like that.
Something you wanna consider is how many meetings do you expect your administrator or clerk, whatever you decide, how many meetings do you expect them to go to? Because if it's after hours, then you're gonna be paying overtime. And is it gonna be mandatory that they keep your position and your place at those tables? So that's something you have to think about when you're deciding if you're gonna have an administrator or just have a clerk, a deputy clerk, and that's gonna
As
be
in, because your clerk is normally paid
hourly.
but your administrator is paid salary.
But the clerk is the one who is supposed to be doing the minutes, is supposed to be the one at the meetings.
Yeah, but you're also talking about other meetings.
Like airport commission, parks,
Oh,
and
yeah.
rec.
Other than council meetings,
Yeah. Right.
other
Right.
meetings
Yeah.
that,
Right.
So, take that into account when you're thinking about it, because that could come to an awful lot of overtime.
I mean, at one time, it was also discussed that just their work hours would be adjusted based that week on if they spent 2 hours at a city council meeting on Monday, they would come in 2 hours late on Tuesday, and different things along those lines. So having that discussion with whoever we end up proceeding with, I think would be a transparent decision.
how many meetings you figured?
I go to 14 meetings a month.
But would you,
Are they, how many of those are during work hours, how many of those?
Sometimes they're 7 in the morning, sometimes they're 5 o'clock at night, so it just depends on the group. Cause sometimes the county doesn't meet till 5, so,
A lot of meetings.
yeah.
I actually have thought about this before even saying, applying for the position. Just because in West Bend, we had a clerk, and we'll call it a deputy clerk up there, ran very well. I'm not familiar with the difference between a clerk and an administrator here. I kind of lump them all into the same situation.
Yeah.
It gives me food for thought, because the idea of meetings and payment was never on the discussion, so I'm just curious as to how that all worked out, because I don't know how it worked out.
Yeah.
Except we always had a representative, they took turns or whatever, there was always one of them there, but it was something to think about.
And you can say that they could come in 2 hours late tomorrow, but you could be to the point where that clerk 2 or 3 days a week might only be in the office an hour because of all of the meetings.
Right.
So,
Cause you don't
and,
get your
and
time
I'm
back.
just playing devil's advocate. I'm
Yeah,
not,
can the clerk be on salary?
no,
But
Nope.
you have the
I
clerk.
have to agree with it, just, and that's my only
I
concern.
don't know, that was just.
Yeah, no,
a question.
FLSA exempt, she would be they're not exempt. Because they don't have the power to hire and fire. They don't supervise
Gotcha.
anybody.
Gotcha.
And so that's where you're gonna run into your problems, and this is just from your chief side of the house that runs the other side under Christie, is that's where your problem's gonna be. So if you're gonna construct your clerk is nothing more than a city administrator again.
Yeah.
So, because that is gonna be your problem. The instant they have the power to supervise and they have the power to hire and fire, which they do,
I think it's more of a fluidity thing too, though, of like, your city clerk, I mean, we ran into it when Kyle left, right? In that we had to amend certain resolutions to reflect you being able to do the things that Kyle was no longer here to do. And so having the terminology be a little more fluid, so that you don't run into situations like that. Because, I mean, when you look at the realistic nature of this position in a town our size, the city administrator position is really a stepping role unless you find someone that is tied to this community and wants to be here. You start small and you hopefully get to a bigger town down the road. But I mean, that was one of the pros of that, is just being able to continue to operate the city logistically if you should have somebody out of office, missing, leaving, retiring, whatever that looks like.
Is that when cities go to their city administrator, and then the city administrator is also the clerk, and then you have the deputy clerks,
They also mentioned that another pro of it is that if you have your city clerk acting as, more of our administrator role, they're privy to what's going on as far as projects and infrastructure work and stuff like that, where they can give the clerk more of a heads up of, just so you know, we're here and this is what to expect financially going forward. And so you can take there's a little more of a communication, which obviously can still exist if the two roles remain as they are. But that being more of a cohesive bunch like that and having that information between the two individuals makes it a little more easy to do work.
Laura, would you be able to give us a list, sorry, be able to give us a list of those committees that you do have?
Sure, yeah,
I
we can make a
can
copy.
going
Yeah,
on.
perfect, not today, but
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it'd be important, again, I think we kind of like had this conversation of, if you can take some of that responsibility off of one or two people and have other people represent the community in those roles, it might be more enticing of a position.
and one thing I just wanna make sure, and then to help everybody in their mind, if you wanna do your homework, remember, all these are legislated under the city code. So, you gotta make sure that if one fits into the other, that you've actually looked at that, because you won't be able to make a deputy clerk until you've actually rewritten the code. So be very, because right now, then you'll change your entire form of government, so I just wanna make sure that you know what positions that you're handing off to each other. But it's all written down for you, so that's why I just wanna I hadn't heard anybody talk about the city code changes, and then that is a huge piece to this. Yeah, it's all ordinance based, everything we're doing here is all, so.
And I think we could initially hire, for the sake of time being, under these representatives, but also having that be part of the interview process, that this may be something we're looking at in the future as far as restructuring, and knowing that while you may not excel in what your job responsibilities specifically are laid out right now, if we do restructure it, we're recodifying anyway, we could have that discussion. But I don't think we want to delay the process because of that.
Right.
So as right now, you guys are going to get together.
We'll just get together and get things started.
Basically, what we're gonna advertise, or
Yeah,
or how we're gonna move forward, or get some ideas and get to us.
I think getting some, I don't know if we'll make it in this week's paper, but, I'd like to get a meeting going and, get something going as fast as possible.
Did anyone have any comments generally about the job descriptions that were provided to us?
And these are just right out of the code, so.
So I know, I mean, I agree more with this city clerk job description than the one that was previously run.
So, yes. And we're not gonna run an ad like that again.
Can we also agree to reach out to any candidates that were interested, just so we can have communication with them to say, At this point, our search has kind of reset. If you're continue to be interested, please look for the future job
Would
description.
you maybe give those to me, those applications, at least to me, if not the other two? Alex, that reminds me,
Yes, ma'am.
Kim is going to need an email, a city email.
Yes, yep,
Okay.
that is something we can do.
One thing that doesn't take.
Popped into my head.
Yeah.
Good thought. But if you could get those to me, I would reach out to those people and say, hey, the process is starting over. If you're still interested, we would like to.
We
bring
could
you-
even put that blurb in the paper this week,
Yeah.
and then put the job descriptions later when you guys get them sorted out.
I do think we should contact those individuals though, like
I do too.
one-on-one. I
They-
think that, yes, this
they
process has
deserve
been
that.
turbulent enough that we should
Yes.
have that communicated.
Yes, I'd be more than happy to give them a call.
Did we need to revisit the conversation about contacts for departments going forward, or do we wanna have that as part of our, the transition planning, we kind of,
Do we need to vote on the committee?
Do we need?
yeah, we do need to make.
That's what I was,
I'll make a motion to appoint Nicole.
and Kim and Christie. Okay, Cody, do we need a second? Somebody, Wes, just brightened up right there. All in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Any other discussions? Are we moving on to reports? Anybody got any reports?
You want me to knock mine out? So,
Very
the,
fast.
no, just so everybody's aware, I don't know if everybody's seen it, Governor Reynolds got very upset a while ago about Johnson County not wanting to lower a flag to have staff, so now there's a state law that requires all public buildings to have a flag that have staff. Not accusing anybody, but the city of Pocahontas has done a horrible job with its flags that have staff, and so, I talked to the police department side, we will start managing those, I'm also gonna reach out to like the hospital, some of the other public buildings that are city-ish based, you know, the courthouse, the sheriff's office already does a good job with theirs. We
So
won't mess
you
with those.
guys will manage our flags.
Yeah, up and down, so,
Beautiful.
the only thing I did wanna ask is what's the options, am I stuck with all American flags out in the front, because to me, this is awkward. I mean, honestly, as a soldier and a American and stuff, having all of these American flags, to me, you have one big American flag, because we have to lower them all down to half staff, and it's great. But if you just lowered the big one down and like had a POW flag, maybe a school flag, maybe, you know, we got 4
How many
flags.
flags are out, how many poles are out there? Is it just 4 or 5?
Well, there's 5 poles,
Five
but
from
one
the
pole.
top.
Yeah, or if
Okay.
the walkway ones.
So there's 4 that we could put different flags
Right,
on.
and so that's why I was thinking maybe a school flag, you know, a state of Iowa flag, a POW flag, you know, those things. And I know that was done in a RAGBRAI a long time ago, was my understanding. You know, nothing against it, but it's also a lot of, I mean.
But do you fly your other flags higher than the
No,
house?
No.
well, that's the cool part of it, is you have the tall flags, so you just
Unless
lower it
you're
down.
Texas.
And then you have,
Okay, so that,
Texas is the only one that can fly the same height.
so then you only have to lower than the one flag. I don't have to lower 5 flags.
no, but I mean, the American flag on the big pole is not gonna be lower than the full county.
And it'll go to half staff above those.
It's still a county.
So, and that's why I don't know, maybe that's what it was a design, I mean, I don't know, it's a long time. So, I didn't know how, I will come back to you with exactly what that is for approval, but I just wanna make sure, can I look forward?
Can we just take 2 out and put a state of Iowa and a school flag?
Well, I just didn't know if I'm going to fill out for No, you're right. You're right.
Like,
I
do we
look-
need 4 flags just in general?
Well, I agree with that, or we could go, like you said,
Yeah.
just, I'm good either way, so.
I know the fire department has signed up for state alerts.
Right.
So they have that. I signed my husband up for state alerts, so he goes down and does it now. 'Cause
So,
Roger was.
well, and you can let him know that if we don't, I mean, keep an eye on, but we'll take that one on too, so then that way because I've got them for years, because I used to do all the ones in front, so that's why.
And you got the library on here.
And the library, I'll be on there, and I have that, like I said, I'll talk to the hospital just to see if they want us.
Cemetery now that,
Yep,
So cemetery, the cavalry side, not the north side, so. that is-
Yeah.
Summit
Then
side.
Catholics
Summit.
are gonna have to take care of themselves.
And if they want us to, I mean, obviously we would, but then, so I'll just put it out to the officers that night, hey, lower it down, and I just want, so that was my first thing, just, as long as everybody was kosher with
That
that.
would be awesome.
Thank you.
I would
So,
greatly
I've thought about doing it, and then it's always, when you volunteer for duty sometimes, it just, but, so we'll get that done. Josh and Dalton, I don't know exactly where Dalton's taking a fishing holiday right now, but Josh is about done with his clinicals and is almost an EMT besides a national class. Expect at the next meeting to have an e-scooter ordinance for emergency passing.
Amen.
But what I'm asking you to do right now is, if you have anything besides, don't run stop signs, and if you have anything else you want to, I'm gonna take the model ordinance and we're gonna do, I've got, Trooper, 103, Paul Gardner. He's gonna give me one last bit of information that they have from the state patrol on these, and then I'll get you a model ordinance, and then hopefully you guys will all agree. But the state did not do what we'd hoped they would do, they just basically left it. The Bike Iowa group, and I understand what their concerns were too, it's very valid, but, obviously my complaints are, 20 a day right now on these scooters, and,
Yeah.
and again, 8-year-olds and stuff, but I don't know how else too, I can't punish parents, I can't write tickets to an 8-year-old, what are we gonna do about it? There's North Liberty and another one that have some pretty unique stuff, so maybe we can try, so.
That would be awesome.
Uh,
'Cause they're a pain.
Well, they are, and they've just been,
We just talked.
we did, can't remember if I mentioned it, we got $13,000 from STEP for traffic enforcement, which everybody saw May was a pretty aggressive month. We had a lot of cars, a lot of Lakers stopped coming through. And again, to go on to that with the yards and stuff, that's the only thing I needed, and I had not seen done the yards, but I've been doing yards just in working with people, because I've got one other landowner that he needs to come out, so the mowing will go. Actually, what I've decided, I didn't really fully know that it was Chad, so Chad and I will kind of go direct on it too. When the guys get them, normally what we do is, we just don't go in and mow. We go in and say, hey, can we mow or whatever, and I have 90% of our landlords on text message, hey, a lot of property owners I just go to directly, and they can deal with their tenants. Their tenants work better, so.
I got one down in my neighborhood I want to talk to.
We haven't mowed any yet, have we?
No, but because I haven't seen the posting.
Cause we
so-
gotta post it.
Yeah, you have to be out.
Before you
It'll
can
go in.
tax
Are you
it
on my
for
thing
mowing.
right now?
Okay, so we need to get that out there, and then cars and stuff, we did get a couple more cars done, and I've worked on a couple general housing and stuff. The guys are learning, Josh just offered, he's ready for his next adventure of property cleanup, so it's one of the ones we get a lot of complaints on anyway, so I know this fits, so we'll continue that. And then the last thing I had was, and Chad and I got into discussion, and I don't ever know quite, our black police truck initially was supposed to go to garbage, it ended up going to waste, but then we were just talking the other day, and I'm like, why didn't we ever try to take it back to garbage? The wastewater guys didn't like it. It has a transmission flaw in it, we know about it, it's not that big a deal. I don't know if they just got, and I believe there's a way to repair it, and not very expensive way to repair it. We just, if it's gonna stay in, or are we gonna auction it off? That's what I need to know. But do we wanna replace that, what is it, a 1990? 1995,
It's a four.
and keep it in the system, and so that
It
we
didn't
can,
have brake lights, it was dying on them in Cherokee, it died on them on the way back.
I'll have to look, cause they never told me all that.
Yeah.
So, the brake lights are easy, our outfitter said he'd fix that, so.
That can be fixed.
Yeah, that can be fixed. So is that okay if we just try that temporarily and see if what Chad thinks of it, and then we go from there? I mean, it doesn't require a vote, it's
Yeah,
just.
that was the original plan, yes,
Yeah.
you just,
Okay.
you never made a different plan,
No.
officially made a different
A plan.
plan, you're just.
Right, so I just wanna make sure nobody had a problem, though they wanted to kick it to the curb, so, okay, we'll get that done. That's all I have, thank you.
Anybody else?
I will just say my final thank you. It's been a fun 2 years, it's been a very challenging 2 years.
Yes, it has.
But thank you, council, for, giving me your time and your patience and all the questions and text messages, that I have had to send out. I learned a lot, so I do thank you for that.
And we thank you for your service.
I try.
Do you have something, Helen?
I just wanted to pass along the thank you to the city council for making our swimming pool so luxurious. Our water aerobics group, which has been together for about 40 years, couple of generations of us, and we just really appreciate it.
Well,
It's
thank
just
you.
wonderful.
Thank you.
I got 3 3 phone calls yesterday just about the heat.
I was gonna say, the water's warm and it's so nice.
It's like that somewhere. It's
Yeah.
80 degrees. Now wait till we get the
86
black hills,
degrees.
86.
Yeah,
Wait till we get the
I-
black hills.
86.
Yeah, that's what's gonna be.
Holy ouch.
All right. Motion to adjourn? Oh,
Are we meeting again? Am I?
we're gonna have to meet again before we appoint anyone.
Right, that I understand. Just, am I coming back Thursday and Friday to finish out the week? Are we having a meeting then to decide what you're gonna do about me? Where are we?
I would say if you come back, there's stuff to be done.
No,
Uh,
there's
come
plenty to
back.
be done.
Yeah.
And if we have a meeting, you're here.
How does that sound?
I think for procedural purposes, that after this meeting concludes, Christie can call a special and we could at that meeting, emergency type approve pay for you to come back and.
Because you're still on your, if you come back Thursday, Friday, you're still on your, our
Yeah.
time before.
Yeah.
That's right.
So we got a motion now we need.
Motion to adjourn? Second?
And?
And all in favor?
Thank you.
Oh, you bet.
And the mowing notification will.
I know, that's it. It made a huge difference. I know that.
Yes, that, that's really, yes, yes, cause I
Oh, yeah.
already,
You?
plenty of